we are going to study the types of preference shares. There are various types of preference shares with differences with their structure. Now this is the common types of preference shares. First of all, with reference to dividend, preference shares are of two types: cumulative preference shares and non-cumulative preference shares. Now, cumulative preference shares are those shares whose shareholders have the right of dividend of a company even in those years in which it makes no profit. That means if in any year the company does not earn adequate profit, then dividends on preference shares may not be paid for that year. Say for example, in 2017 a company earns no profit. In 2018 also a company earns no profit, but in 2019 a company earns profit, sufficient profit. In this case, the company will pay the dividend to the cumulative preference shares in 2019 along with the arrear dividend of 2017 and 2018. Now, non-cumulative preference shares. Non-cumulative preference shares are in contrast to cumulative preference shares. Here, dividends do not accumulate if they are not paid when due. The dividends are payable only out of the profits of the current year. If in any year the company does not earn adequate profit, then dividend for that year will not be paid and this will not be accumulated for the next subsequent years. Secondly, with reference to participation. With reference to participation, preference shares are of two types: participating preference shares and non-participating preference shares. Now, with reference to participation means how much shareholders have rights in extra profits of the company. Let's see what is participating preference shares. Well, these are those shareholders who receive stipulated rate of dividend and also participate in the additional earnings of the company along with the equity shareholders. That is, the surplus earnings of the company will be distributed between the participating preference shareholders and equity shareholders in an agreed ratio. Now, let's see what is non-participating preference shares. In practice, most preference shares are non-participating in nature. It means that the holders of such shares will get only a fixed rate of dividend every year and do not have any rights to participate in the surplus profits. If the articles are silent, then all preference shares are treated as non-participating preference shares. Thirdly, with reference to convertibility, preference shares are of two types: convertible preference shares and non-convertible preference shares. Convertible, let's see what is convertible preference shares. Now, these are those shares the holders of which have a right to get their holdings into equity shares at a specified rate on the expiry of a stated period. On the other hand, non-convertible preference shares are those shares the holders of which do not get such rights to convert their holdings into equity shares or in any other types. Next, with reference to redemption, again preference shares are of two types: redeemable preference shares and non-redeemable preference shares. Now, redeemable preference shares are those shares which can be redeemed after a specified period or at the discretion of the company. That means these types of shares have a specified period, say 5 years or 10 years. And after the completion of the period, it is repaid back to their holdings, or it is repaid back at the discretion of the company, whichever comes first. Clear? Now, non-redeemable preference shares are generally permanent in nature and its shareholdings is continued till the lifetime of the company. That means till the company goes into liquidation. So students, we have learned the various types of preference shares and I think it is clear to you. Topic is subdivision of share capital. Now, what is share capital? In ordinary parlance, we can say that share capital is the capital raised by the company by the issue of shares. Now, we will learn the various subdivision of share capital. First is authorized capital. The other term for authorized capital is nominal capital or registered capital. Now, authorized capital is that capital with which a company is registered, and this amount is mentioned in the memorandum of association of the company. In other words, we can say that it is the maximum amount of shares capital that a company can issue, and it is mentioned in the memorandum of association. Next is our issued capital. Issued capital is that portion of authorized capital for which company have invited to the public for subscription. Next is subscribed capital. Subscribed capital is that part of the issued capital which is being subscribed by public. Next is called up capital. Called up capital is that capital which has been called up for payment on shares issued to the shareholders. Next is paid up capital. Paid up capital is that part of called up capital which has been paid by the shareholders on their shares. Explain the types of share capital by taking an example. I am going to start a company, and for starting any company we need money, that is capital. Now the projected capital for my company is rupees 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs, and we can call this projected capital as authorized capital or nominal capital or registered capital, and this I have mentioned in the capital clause of my memorandum of association. As I have no money and I need money, so I want others to buy my shares. Now I am going to issue shares for my company. Assume that the shares of my company is rupees 100 per share. This 100 rupees is the face value of my shares. Now, what is my authorized capital? That is 10 lakhs. By dividing this 10 lakhs by my rupees 100, my face value, we get 10,000 shares. So this 10,000 shares is the maximum number of shares that I can issue for subscription. More than that I cannot issue. Now assume that I don't need 10 lakhs rupees. I just need now only 5 lakhs rupees for starting my business. So by considering 100 per share, I can issue only 5,000 shares. Now I will issue 5,000 shares to the public for subscription. This particular 5,000 shares of rupees 100 per share is the issued capital of my company. Now, public has subscribed only 4,000 shares of my company. Now I received 4,000 shares at the rate of 100 per share, that is 4 lakhs rupees. That is 4,000 shares of rupees 100 per share, and that is the subscribed capital for my company. Initially, the company do not call the shareholders for their entire amount of their share value. So, from these 4,000 shares, company has called only rupees 10 from the subscriber. Now, these 40,000 shares, that is 4,000 shares at the rate of rupees 10 each, that is 40,000. That 40,000 shares is the called up capital. This is the called up capital of my company. Now, among 4,000 subscriber, only 3,000 shareholders has paid their call money, that is 3,000 at the rate of rupees 10 each, 30,000. This 30,000 is the paid up capital of my company. So students, from this example, I think subdivision of share capital is clear to you. Now, apart from these 5 division, that is authorized, issued, subscribed, called up and paid up, there is another division of share capital, and that is reserve capital. Now, reserve capital is that portion of the subscribed capital which has not been called up and the company has by special resolution resolved that it can be called up only in the event of the winding up of the company. Why is it so? Only to protect the interest of the creditors of the company. Note it under section 99 of the Companies Act 1956. The word reserve capital has been substituted by the expression reserve liability of limited company.